Hey everyone, Ashwin here from Flipper. I'm a broker at Flipper's Melbourne office. I'm working with the founders of My Diffability Australia, Renee and Taryn. Renee and Taryn, how are you both doing?
Good,
Hi,
thanks.
good thanks.
Renee and Taryn, if you both don't mind, why don't you just start by telling us a bit about the brief history of My Diffability? You've been running this for almost a decade right now. Take us through your journey and how this business came about.
Yeah, so Taryn and I met each other working in a couple of different settings, and we're working with kids and families and providing resources or recommending resources. And we just thought there's a need for more affordable, beneficial supports for families. So
Mhm.
in 2011, actually, we started the store, and our aim was to provide resources to support with developmental needs. And yeah, over time, my gosh, so much has happened with the business. We've been overseas together, we've done presentations together. All of these things have helped us to grow the business over time. Um, and we've gone from providing resources just to kids to now supporting people across the lifespan, all different ages. We've
Yeah,
expanded our products categories and ranges. We've of course grown the team. So we started off as a two-woman team from
yeah.
my lounge room at home, and Taryn's house across Melbourne. And now we've got a small warehouse, a small team there, and two remote team members as well. And yeah, I guess for Taryn and I, just life wise as well, in the last 5 years, we've had like five kids between us, or a little bit over 5 years. But
Yeah.
so now we've really taken I guess, a back seat with the business, and just made that decision that we'd step back, work less hours to focus on our families for now. So it's changed a lot.
We'll touch on the operations a bit later, but Taryn, do you mind running us through a couple of the products you sell? I see a wide range of products on the website. Tell us a bit about, I would say, the top selling or your top performers on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. So our product categories really range between gross motor skills, social skills, communication, handwriting, attention and focus. Really a broad range of school resources, but also home resources, therapy resources, feelings and emotions, books for kids, books for families.
Yep.
Um, to help support families who use these items, whether or not it's, in their house, or to be able to be a bit more independent, taking their kids out or themselves going to a restaurant that might be too overwhelming to them, or being able to be more actively involved and engaged in the classroom. So things like some of our top resources would be something called ear defenders. So they help to block out lots of background noise as well, able to still focus on, what the teacher's saying or what your friends are saying or what your parents are saying around you.
Yep.
We have a visual edge slant board, which is an amazing tool to help with handwriting and focus in the classroom. It's like a specially designed board on an angle that works like it's magnetic. It's a whiteboard. It's like a clipboard. You can put your papers there, your pencils, and your writing tools that you need, and it just really helps to transform handwriting and attention for children of all ages. We have a really big visual timer range from a very special seller in the US. They're called Time Timer.
Hmm.
That's definitely one of our bigger selling products. They're visual timers that help people to transition away from one task to the other, or help to show how much time is left, which can be really tricky for kids to understand.
Yep.
Um, we have some really amazing relationships with some of our suppliers that have been on board with us almost since the beginning. We do have some, special arrangements with them, some exclusivity, some international distributing prices set up, and things like that to be able to pass on better prices, some of the best prices for those items within Australia.
Excellent. Just one add-on question to that would be, we currently only sell via Shopify, right? There's no retail presence, there's no Amazon and so on.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we've bounced in and out of attending expos, and we loved meeting our customers and putting names to faces, and yeah, attending big expos, small expos, presenting um, at expos and chatting about the items and how they can help. But as at this current time, it's just online presence. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Pretty straightforward business to run. I think even buyers listening to this call to review the business, it's very straightforward. You look at Shopify because that's where most of our or all of our revenue comes, right? Why don't we touch on, Renee, if you don't mind jumping in? You spoke about how the business moved from a two-woman show to a small team in place. Talk to us a bit through the operations. Talk to us about how the business is currently run on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So I guess Taryn and I have really focused largely over the past 5 or so years on making it a business that runs remotely and sort of ticks along day to day. And we've done that by having just a super strong team, looking at systems and processes and documenting all of those things. So we've got currently one customer service team member who manages all of the customer inquiries, inbox, phones, etc., and also liaises with our warehouse team, other team members, manages NDIS for us. So she's amazing. She's a huge asset to the business. She works remotely from home, which suits her because she has kids who have different abilities as well.
Yeah.
So it lends itself to working in the business as well because she has that empathy for our customers. We've got one offshore VA who's full time, and she's also a bit of a jack of all trades. She started off doing sort of social media stuff for us, but now she does like everything. So social media, product, she does Shopify stuff, product setup,
Yeah.
purchases and analyzes reports, all of those sorts of things. We do have a small casual team in the warehouse, which is located not far from my house. So I'm sort of involved in managing that. It's not a lot of time involved because when we were selecting that team, we employed people who were neurodiverse themselves or who were looking for a second chance at employment later in life. So they do need a little bit more support in that way, but yeah, it's still pretty hands-off overall.
Yeah.
So they do pick, packing, dispatching orders, receive supply deliveries, but that's pretty much all that happens in the warehouse. The other typical warehouse functions have been delegated to other team members working remotely.
Yep.
Taryn and I working about 7 hours a week, roughly, each remotely from home. Although sometimes we do make the trip across the West Gate to catch up with each other.
Yeah.
And then we also brought on consulting teams to work on SEO ads and things, which was a big outlay for us. But again, it was just a decision we made. We're going to invest this in teams to keep the business running so that we can take that step back and work more hands off.
Renee, if you don't mind touching on a bit, you mentioned that you and Taryn work about 7 hours a week. What is your or both of your typical week about? We're just trying to understand if a buyer wants to run this the way you run the business, what would they need to do? What is the skill set they would require to have?
Yeah, I think Taryn and I have sort of tried to lean in more to our strength. So because we have a therapy background and we enjoy like liaising with customers, like these days I do a lot of videoing. It's sort of easy for me as well because I've got often like young kids at home and I'm trying to work with them. So like doing videos or, having them try our products and things, it's really easy for me. I also work with the warehouse team. And I guess also if customer inquiries are escalated, I'll manage those sorts of things. And Taryn is more to do with the working with our VA for ordering and looking at which products we're going to discontinue, all of those sorts of things. That's more her role these days.
I don't mean to downplay it at all, but I suppose our roles are quite generic in a way that we're looking at like new products to bring on, which products are not selling well, let's get rid of those. Things like my role involves managing, cash flow and paying the bills and things like that. So that's sort of what most of our time during the week is about.
Meetings.
meetings, just to check that everything is sort of running smoothly, or anything that needs our extra attention, things like that. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
managing
sounds
a
good.
remote team as well, it's important to have those meetings because we've got team members that have never met.
Yep.
And so like it's nice to have that check-in and not always be over email. So we've prioritized that as well ourselves.
True. So a fair amount of the 7 hours a week roughly is checking in with the team, chatting, or Zoom face-to-face meetings with them. So we do feel like we're still part of a team and they're not, not chatting to other humans throughout the day.
Yep.
So we do, spend a bit of time doing that.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Tara, may get you back in. Why don't you touch a bit about our customer base? Who are our primary customers buying these products? So that's question one. But let's also post that, touch about how we acquire customers, acquire new customers primarily.
Yeah, of course. So our primary customers, they really range from families, parents looking for resources and tools to support their kids, um, people with different abilities themselves, the neurodiverse community purchasing directly for themselves. Schools, kinders, childcare centres, education departments are a really big customer base for us, as
Mm-hmm.
well as hospitals. So people, who may have a therapy clinic purchasing resources for their clinicians to use. Hospitals will often approach us as well, whether it's items for aged care or items for their pediatric wards. They're
Yep.
definitely our customers too. And in terms of acquiring new customers, this has changed for us a little bit over the last few years. As Renee mentioned earlier, that we decided a couple of years ago to bring on some consultants to help us with some paid advertising, which we hadn't done
Yep.
for the first almost decade of our business. We didn't need it. And spending, so advertising on Meta and Google. We use email marketing through Klaviyo. We have a lot of organic SEO, very much word of mouth as well,
Yep.
in the early days for sure. And we do, regular social media posts and things like that as well.
And are those other social media posts currently being done by you and Renee, or is this based on the consultant doing it?
That's done mostly in-house. Yeah.
Yep.
Our social media is in-house. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. There's obviously money that needs to be spent in today's e-commerce world in acquiring new customers via Meta and Google. It's something that's unavoidable. However, I think things like email marketing get your customers back. How are we seen in terms of customers returning back to the customers, right? Returning back to the store, customer loyalty in terms of obviously customers who were previously acquired from us coming and getting their second purchase. Is that something you're seeing over the last 6, 12 months? And has that looked?
Yeah, absolutely. We find that we have quite a loyal customer base. So, for example, in the last 12 months, we've had just over 6,000 customers, and 2,200 of them have been returning customers. So, almost a third of the customers are returning over the last 12 months.
Yeah, that's excellent because those are much higher profitable customers because you don't spend a lot in acquiring them. All
Correct.
right, let's go to a couple more questions. Probably a bit harder ones right now. When I Google your business, we see a lot of similar products. You have your Amazons, you have the other store, but you have similar independent stores as well. What makes your product stand out, right? I'm a buyer looking to acquire the business. Why should I acquire my Diffability? I'm scared that someone could copy it tomorrow and replace me. Well, what makes your business stand out and your products?
Yeah, so Taryn and I were just, I guess, fumbling along, but in a great way for the first 10 years of our business. And then when I had my first baby and we had COVID, I ended up doing a course about all these sorts of things. And we became a little bit more businessy at this time. So we came up with our USP, which we didn't know what that was before. And that's really about the resources we provide are unique in that they have a therapeutic purpose. So we see a lot of competitors these days popping up with they've got the cheapest fidget toy and the newest fidget toy on the market, and they're like gimmicky and that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like impulse items, but it's the sort of thing that you can just buy at the $2 shop, really.
Yeah.
And so like people like to play with them, and that's great, and there's space for that, and we do a little bit of that as well. But the reason we started the business was to help people understand how these resources might benefit them, what's going to be appropriate for them. So the categories that we've set up on the website cover all areas of development, not just like sensory, because that's a lot of our competitors. We're super competitive with a lot of our pricing, particularly on some of those items where we have like exclusivity or some special arrangements with overseas suppliers.
Yeah.
We try to stick to like good quality resources, so we make sure that we're seeing new resources, they come in, getting samples, checking them out for ourselves, letting our kids play with them to make sure that they're robust, they're going to last. We make a lot of videos showing what they do, or how you might use them at home, because people are shopping online, so sometimes they might you can't tell a lot from looking at a photo. So instead of this is a blue wedge, this is a blue wedge and this is how you use it and this is what it's for and this is who it might help. So it's helping them make those decisions before they make a purchase. I think we have excellent customer service and a very empathetic team who all have sort of personal ties to this sort of industry.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of time streamlining our NDIS processes as well, although it's not a huge part of what we do. Certainly it is a part of what we do because a lot of our customers are people with disabilities. So we've worked really hard on making that buying process easy for our customers. And also we are a neuro-affirming business. So we look carefully at how we're communicating with our customers, communication channels we have open, and understanding that different customers have different needs and trying to meet them where they're at.
Yeah, and I think those all are excellent points. But I think I'd add one to that. The fact that you both have been operating this for the last 14 years right now, right? Is the fact that you cannot build a brand overnight. Someone starting this would take 14 years to build what you both have done, and kudos to both of you for have done that. Let's wrap up with just two more questions. Let's start on with, I'm a buyer looking to acquire the business. What are 2 or 3 opportunities that I should be excited about while acquiring the business, right? Kind of reasons that would kind of get me excited and up at night to kind of grow this business while looking to acquire it.
I think it's the sort of business you get out what you put in. So we've really taken a step back. Still, the business is still a very strong business. But for someone who had the time and the money to invest in it, I think the opportunity is endless, really. There's definitely an opportunity to invest more in ad spend. Previously, we've sort of aimed for a ROAS of 10, which is like super high for eComm. It's like over double, I think, what the normally think is a good ROAS. So definitely that's a big opportunity for the business. Taryn, what do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I think we run the business remotely and the warehouse remotely, but another conversation we've had a few times over the years is the idea of 3PL. So making it sort of an even more remotely run and managed business for a business owner. Definitely, continuing to just source really good items direct from suppliers, nutting out a bit more through that, going directly to the manufacturers and things like that. And certainly, like Renee touched on before as well, is that not just who could invest more in ads themselves or who had experience even in understanding, marketing and the digital world and doing some things themselves. Like we mentioned earlier, we have offloaded a lot of the tasks that we could do, but have chosen not to because of our time and raising our family. So definitely really big opportunities there to step back in and continue to grow it even more.
I think
Go ahead, Renee.
One more that I think is a real good opportunity is that we do have an arrangement to we're a distributor for a big international brand. So we're the only business in Australia with that arrangement, and we do have a wholesale opportunity there, and we have some customers, but they've come to us. We haven't actually done any work yet to set up a wholesale side. So that's definitely like on the to-do list, whether that's us or the next person. There's a real big opportunity there as well.
Yeah, the wholesale orders tend to be big orders. Renee, Taryn, you touched on this a bit throughout the call, the fact that you've had 5 kids between the both of you all over the last 5, 6 years, right? But I think let's summarize this call by getting the reason for you both are looking to sell this amazing business that you've built over the last almost decade and a half.
Yeah, I think like we've touched on, our focus has shifted over the last few years um, to our families and raising young children. And, I think it would be so wonderful for us to see my diffability maybe moving on to that next stage of someone who has more time to put into it. And we'd love to see it continue to grow.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, we'll wrap it up at that. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Taryn. If you have any questions, reach out to me on the Flipart chat. Renee and Taryn are always open to jump on a discovery call if you'd like to. But thank you and look forward to speaking with you.
Thank you. Bye.